What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jet Ski Chuck, back up in this thing with another creepy TikTok. Back with another creepy TikTok that might just melt your whole reality and make you rethink everything. I wouldn't watch these creepy TikToks alone. Make sure you got a friend, somebody you can watch these boys with, because we be on the dark waters. Yes. Do not watch these creepy TikToks alone. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and punch that bell and select the option for all so you don't miss any of these videos. So without further ado, let's get into these videos.
Did you know there was an electric moving sidewalk 123 years ago at the World's Fair in Paris, stretching 543 acres along the Seine River? The grounds of the 1900 Exposition Universelle were the biggest in history. And just like all the other World's Fairs, almost everything was destroyed afterwards, including this incredible electric moving sidewalk. It was elevated above the street on a 23-foot tall iron viaduct and consisted of 3 sections. One was stationary while the other ones moved continuously at 3 miles per hour and 6 miles per hour.
Gee, they give us the whole breakdown of this boy. Look. They give you the blueprints. We need these. Well, we don't really need them. We need to be walking, but you know, some people might need these. You know, it'll be a good option. Let's just say that. It'll be a good option, y'all.
The 2.5-mile loop was constructed around the perimeter of the central square. Using the 6 miles per hour walkway allowed visitors to circumnavigate the square in roughly 25 minutes, all while standing still and sightseeing. The predecessor of this walkway was at an earlier Chicago World's Fair. Along the same route but moving in the opposite direction was an elevated railway system that visitors could use to get around more quickly. However, the electric walkway could accommodate up to 14,000 people at one time. On its busiest day, it carried 70,000 people in one afternoon. The gigantic scale of the exposition made it virtually impossible to see everything, which is why the Rue de l'Avenir was so popular. It was both convenient and entertaining. One visitor described it as a giant wooden snake with its tail in its mouth. At Ouroboros of Paris, we're told that this structure was only temporary, but it had iron foundations just like the Eiffel Tower, and many other masterpieces of architecture that were destroyed. Even the Eiffel Tower was supposed to be demolished. Most of these things would probably still be standing today, and would be iconic landmarks like the Eiffel Tower turned out to be. These events are the plot holes of history. You really have to ask yourself amazing things, and why is it the same story all over the world? Did you know there
Yeah, because if you think about the Eiffel Tower, it is a monument everyone goes to. If you think about the Statue of Liberty, you know, everyone wants to check that. It's a must-see. Who knows how many more structures are out there that were built by the ancients that we haven't seen? We want the truth. That's why we on these dark waters. We demand the truth. Come on, y'all.
When I saw the State of the Black Union, Dick Gregory really moved me and a lot of my friends. I show it to everybody that comes over the house, especially white folks, because they need to hear that, you know, so that they know more about all of us. Because what he said affects all of us. He said something that really hit home about this. You know, when I was a kid, I used to see these trails in the sky all the time, and say, oh, that's cool. A jet just went over. And then you started to see a whole bunch of them. And next thing you know, everybody in your neighborhood was fighting and arguing, and you didn't know why. Okay, and you really didn't know why. I mean, everybody was fighting. So he started riffing about the chemtrails. And he started to say things that hit home so hard. And I would recommend that everybody try to get what he said online or wherever. and try to get a copy of it and just listen to it. Because I was so moved that I had to write the song. The other thing is the first line of the song says I was born on the same plantation in the United States of the red, white, and blue. And we live in a place now that feels just about like a plantation. We're all indentured servants, you know. When I found out there were 8 presidents before George Washington, I wanted to smack somebody. You know, I wanted to know why I was taught otherwise. Just tell me the whole story. I'll fill in the blanks, but don't tell me something that you think I'm supposed to know.
We're indentured servants and we got a black president now?
I don't vote. I have nothing to do with it. I got no dog in that race. When I
Eight presidents before George Washington. What's he talking about, y'all? Well, I'm genuinely interested. What's he talking about? Prince was that dude, wasn't he? Purple Rain. Let me quit. I don't even know how the song go. Well, how that one song go? That do 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 do. Like, I know that song. You know, when doves cry, doom doom doom. Doom, 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 doom. I remember that jam. Yeah. You know, Prince was that dude. I don't know Prince. Didn't grow up in the era of Prince, but you know, I can see what he was, you know, there's a little something there, y'all. A little something there. That's all I'm saying. Let's get back into these creepy and scary TikToks that might just melt your whole reality.
Did you know there's a secret hidden below the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C.? Architect Henry Bacon based the design on the Parthenon, an ancient Greek temple dedicated to Athena, the city protectress and goddess of wisdom, warfare, and handicraft. Because the site chosen for the massive 38,000-ton structure was originally a swamp that was filled in with material dredged from the Potomac River, it required digging down over 40 feet to reach bedrock. As a result, the entire monument is actually suspended above a vast, underground, 48,000 square foot chamber known as the Undercroft. According to the 1912 Lincoln Memorial Commission report, the final structure would be situated on a plateau atop a series of terraces.
On this rectangular terrace rises the marble memorial. All the foundations of the steps, terraces, and memorial will be built on a concrete piling which extends down to the solid rock.
The groundbreaking ceremony was conducted on February 12, 1914, which would have been Lincoln's 105th birthday, and it was dedicated on May 30th, 1922. The Undercroft was then sealed up and all but forgotten about until 1975. While renovating the bathrooms for the bicentennial celebration, construction workers... The groundbreaking ceremony was conducted on February 12th, 1914, which would have been Lincoln's 105th birthday, and it was dedicated on May 30th, 1922. The Undercroft was then sealed up and all but forgotten about until 1975.
There it is. There go that Anunnaki planet Nibiru y'all be talking about. That's it.
While renovating the bathrooms for the bicentennial celebration, construction workers rediscovered this lost underworld. When representatives from the National Speleological Society investigated, they officially deemed it to be a cave, complete with stalactites, animals, and its own ecosystem. The Undercroft reaches 40 feet below ground, where its long rows of tall concrete columns stretch.
The question is what's in there today, right now? That's probably where they hide Gilgamesh on the low. Don't come for me, entertainment purposes only. Just kidding, bro, it's a prank.
Upwards into arches that support the temple above, giving the whole space a cathedral-like feeling. Although this incredible cavern has been hidden from the public for multiple decades, in March of 2023, construction began on a new 15,000 square foot museum. When it opens in the year 2026, visitors will descend into a glass-walled enclosure suspended.
It's opening in 2026? Really? And it's gonna show what's in there? Oh, snaps. What if they really got old Gilgamesh in there, y'all, and they're like, hey, look, this is what y'all wanted to see. We was trying to prepare it for y'all in 2026. We was trying to keep it under wraps, but y'all was on dark waters and Found out the whole plan. Our fault.
High within the Undercroft, with large floor-to-ceiling windows looking out upon the colossal space beyond. It will not only explore the life of Abraham Lincoln, but also feature exhibits about the construction of the monument and the Undercroft. The huge glass walls will capture a panoramic view from the antique graffiti that was left by the construction crews in the early 1900s to the ceiling adorned with stalactites and the long rows of columns that disappear into the darkness. Did you know there's a secret hidden?
Would you guys be interested in going to that monument? I would. I always love museums. I never was a real club person. I always been the type to want to hit the museums, you know, see what's going on at the aquariums. That was just me, you know. That's just how I always was. Let's jump back on these waters, see what else they got for us. Using.
This footage from 1937 depicts the final deflation of the last airship in the service of the U.S. Army, the 235-foot DC-13.
The Army TC-13, the last remaining airship in America's military service, is dismantled. With Congress refusing to appropriate money for further lighter-than-air operations, the TC-13 is deflated, but with the utmost care to save every bit of her 360,000 cubic feet of helium. The little airship, which was flown more than 150,000 miles in her 4 years of service, was considered very effective on scouting missions. But now she is retired, because the fate of her big sisters has made the use of airships a debatable question. Yet the invaluable gas she contained is stored for the future. And someday, we may again see Army airships sailing the sky.
Most of the old airships and the gigantic hangars built to house them have all been destroyed. This footage is from 1949.
America and Navy officials take their last look at this former airship hangar, condemned by the authorities, and now ready to take a trip on its own.
The human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. Combined with a form of fusion, the machines had found all the energy they would ever need. There are fields, endless fields, where human beings are no longer born. We are grown. For the longest time, I wouldn't believe it. And then I saw the fields with my own eyes. Watched them liquefy the dead so they could be fed intravenously to the living.
Yeah, they really doing it?
And standing there, facing the pure, horrifying precision, I came to realize the obviousness of the truth. What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop. Let me out. Let me out! I want out!
Easy, Neo. Easy.
Get this in.
Yeah, they working on this right now, y'all.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
It's gonna pop.
Breathe. Just breathe.
Ease Wireless is a short 1920s silent film that shows two women demonstrating what they refer to as a wireless telephone. What they're using is a crystal radio receiver. The crystal diode was officially patented in 1901 by J.C. Bose as a device for detecting electrical disturbances. The crystal diode relies on the naturally occurring piezoelectric qualities of certain solid materials. Ease Wireless is a short 1920s silent film that shows two women demonstrating what they refer to as a wireless telephone. What they're using is a crystal radio receiver. The crystal diode was officially patented in 1901 by J.C. Bose as a device for detecting electrical disturbances. The crystal diode relies on the naturally occurring piezoelectric qualities of certain solid materials. Crystal receivers don't require an external power source. They only need to be grounded, and then they derive all their power from the radio signal. The umbrella acts as both an antenna and a power supply. Shortly after World War I, the U.S. Bureau of Standards released a publication with instructions for practically anyone to build their own crystal radio, part of a coordinated push for public adoption. These early versions were limited in their capabilities, but could generally receive a clear signal over several miles. World War I helped introduce and propel the advancement of radio technology, as new equipment and capabilities were developed as part of the war effort. Radio broadcasting marked the beginning of modern propaganda. The way that it was able to transform the world could be likened to the birth of the internet. The reason they referred to these radios as telephones is because up until the 1930s, the phone systems operated with a process called radio telephony. This allows radio signals to be used like a phone. In those days it was used to make long-distance phone calls. It was also used to provide telephone service to rural areas where it was not practical to build traditional telephone lines. While it was World War I that helped usher in radio technology and radio telephony, it was the Second World War that helped replace it by introducing coaxial cables and microwave transmissions. Isn't it interesting how wars always coincide with the introduction of disruptive technologies, almost like that's one of the true objectives.
He was low-key spitting. And it's really coming down outside, man. I'm gonna drop a clip what it's looking like. It's coming down, man. I hope y'all staying safe, man. We getting hit with a blizzard. Y'all stay safe and warm. Plug those electric blankets up. Get that chicken noodle soup running. Not that stuff in the can. I'm talking about get those egg noodles, that chicken broth, that carrots, the celery, the chicken breast. Get all that stuff cooking. I'm talking about that good stuff, y'all. Get that chili rotating. Get the crackers, saltine crackers. Y'all know what time it is. And if you don't, I feel sorry for you.
There is nothing fictitious about black magic, in any way whatever. It is a fact. It is a fact which has existed for several thousand years. It is basically the worship of the force of evil as embodied and so on. It does exist. It exists around us today.
I'm going to play this, but I have no idea who Christopher Lee is. I'm sure if we compared him and what y'all drop in the comments, you know, something he did, I'm like, oh, but if you ask me right now, I don't know who that is.
Satanic ceremonies will be happening in Britain tonight. Very definitely. Ask any priest, ask any member of the forces of law and order, and they will tell you that Satanism as such, it's there, and it has been for thousands of years. This is part of the ritual and part of the belief of these people, that in order to make any kind of ceremony totally effective, it must be the exact diametrical opposite of the real ceremony. That is to say, if you make the sign of the cross, you do it like that, upside down. They have the same ranks in the Church of Evil as they have in the good church. They do. They have ranks in the hierarchy of the priesthood, just as you have bishops and deacons and archbishops and cardinals and so on. You have various ranks and grades, like Magister Templi, the master of the temple.
Man, what's he yapping about? My fault. I'm going to let him finish.
System, the sort of number one top man. And this is not just occult writing for the sake of writing. This is a fact, and people really believe in this. As a matter of fact, there is a church in Los Angeles called the Church of Satan, which is run by a man called Anton Sandor LaVey. That is all out in the open. But the real thing is something which I wouldn't be prepared to discuss. I have never attended a ceremony of this kind. I would not even begin to discuss what actually takes place during the Black Mass, because it is so appallingly blasphemous and so repulsive and so unbelievably foul not just a question of hundreds of years of ritual, but what actually happens, what people actually do, what is done to the host and what is done to the cup and so on. Something I wouldn't be prepared to discuss in public. By the way, what I've been discussing and what I've been telling you about all these terrible things does not come from inside knowledge by any manner of means. I don't, as I said, have a private line of any kind which feeds me this sort of information. I know no more about it than anybody else who can read about it in the book.
The power of Isengard is at your command, Sauron.
Oh, that's him?
Build me a army worthy of Mordor.
Oh, that's him? Huge Lord of the Ring fans. Obviously not that big if I don't know my man's name.
There's nothing.
This footage from the early 1950s shows a squadron of U.S. military jets flying low and spraying an unidentified chemical substance. The resulting cloud completely covers dozens of acres with a lethal toxic smoke. Listen as the narrator describes the exercise.
This is chemical warfare, the C of CBR. Like all CBR weapons, it has a two-part role in modern war. Contaminates widespread areas so that no human being, unaided by protective devices, can move into it and remain unharmed.
Again, we see the latest military airplanes being outfitted with advanced chemical spray systems, both of which have been vastly improved since the old airship days. Listen.
Our military planners, who are responsible for the defense of the nation's security, accordingly have spurred on CBR work.
I'll bet they did. Did you know that the U.S. military was using airborne chemical smoke screens more than 100 years ago? 1927 in the skies above Washington, D.C. The airship Los Angeles pierces the cascading curtain. The smoke is created by spraying a trail of the highly toxic chemical, titanium tetrachloride, from one of the military's biplanes. This is one of the earliest examples of airplanes being outfitted to carry and aerially deliver large payloads of chemicals. These experiments and the technology involved served as an important stepping stone towards a number of later developments of airships and zeppelins, far longer than any of us have been alive. The quantity of chemicals being used in these tests is significant. Those clouds are hundreds of feet tall. The tank and spray system used to disperse them would be refined over the following decades to increase capacity and efficiency. These experiments are just the ones that we know about, but it's almost a certainty that they carried out countless others. They've had 100 years to come up with new schemes. I wonder what they're up to now.
As the kids would say, the math is math, and as I would say, the pieces are adding up. What are y'all working on? It's been 100 years. What could you possibly do now? That's insane. Man, what is this? I never seen nothing like this before. This is all new. Wow, look at that. Them boys trying to crack the firmament for entertainment purposes only.
Members dial-up internet.
It did sound terrible.
Who remembers dial-up internet?
Tad O'Malley has been making claims.
Claims about what?
You and everyone you know has a piece of DNA in your genome, put there without your knowing it.
Put there by whom?
Well, that's the question of the day.
This is an internet lunatic. You're not saying you believe him.
Hold on, Agent Einstein. You're talking to a scientist.
Forgive me, Assistant Director. It may sound insensitive, but the suggestion is pure science fiction.
What I'm saying, Agent Einstein, is that the facts, as I understand them, cannot be discounted out of hand.
No one has the right or the ability to tamper with your DNA.
Unless we gave them that ability.
You say they're tampering with our DNA, that they're able to shut down our immune systems by the addition of something to our DNA.
Yes, but I don't know how exactly.
Or how it's being triggered.
I don't know that either.
Or why it's happening now. What can we possibly do?
We need to act quickly.
You were right about that.
Well, I was wrong about the science. I was wrong about what's causing it. Dead wrong, in fact.
But it's clearly a widespread failure of our immune systems.
Through gene tampering. A virus within a virus that was put there through the smallpox vaccine. It's what these men are calling the Spartan virus.
We have to figure this out. What's wrong with the science?
Okay. The Spartan virus removes the adenosine deaminase gene from your DNA. Removes the ADA gene and your immune system will simply vanish.
Yeah, but I'm not getting sick.
It's only a matter of time.
Okay. So how does it work? How does the virus remove the ADA gene?
A process called CRISPR-Cas.
CRISPR-Cas9. RNA and a protein cutting genes at exact locations.
Exactly.
Hold on. I heard of CRISPR. This isn't the first time I've seen about this. But they said this back in X-Files? Whoa, what's really going on?
But in this instance, used as a weapon.
The ultimate weapon. The ability to depopulate the planet.
Tampering with their DNA.
Through gene editing.
Why do such a thing and lie about it? Our own government.
Your own government lies as a matter of course, as a matter of policy. The Tuskegee experiments on black men in the 30s, Henrietta Lacks.
What are they trying to do?
That's the missing piece.
But it's not hard to imagine. A government hiding, hoarding technology for 70 years. Driven not only by corporate greed, but a darker objective.
The takeover of America.
And then the world itself, by any means necessary, by severe drought, brought on by weather wars, conducted secretly using aerial contaminants and high-altitude electromagnetic waves. The corporate takeover of food and agriculture, pharmaceuticals and healthcare, even the military in clandestine agendas to fatten, dull, sicken, and control a populace already consumed by consumerism.
And I encourage you all to go shopping more.
A government that taps your phone, collects your data, and monitors your whereabouts with impunity. A government preparing to use that data against you when it strikes. And the final takeover begins.
The takeover of America.
By a well-oiled and well-armed
Happening as we sit here.
It's happening all around us.
The other shoe waiting to drop.
It'll probably start on a Friday. The banks will announce a security action necessitating their computers to go offline all weekend.
Digital money will disappear,
They can just steal your money?
followed by the detonation of strategic electromagnetic pulse bombs to knock out major grids.
What will seem like an attack on America by terrorists or Russia.
An invasion of the U.S.
The Russians tried it in '47.
Man, it's coming down outside. What if somebody created the X-Files that was from the future that was trying to warn us? Yeah, I ain't going for that one. I didn't think so, but it was worth a shot.
Do not arouse the wrath of the great and powerful Oz.
Whoa, this dude's spitting. Do you see what this is saying up here? I didn't realize he was spitting up here. Look at this. Pipe organs work with the structures to resonate powerful harmonic vibrations and were a key part of the technology. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration.
I said come back tomorrow. The great Oz has spoken. Oh, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
So the Wizard of Oz.
He was working, man. He had that wheel he was spinning. He had to do that microphone, man. Leave the eyes alone.
Is using a technology. Let's take a look at it. At the bottom you see the Ark of the Covenant, and on top of it you see that the image of...
Whoa, I never peeped that. Hold on. Bro is spitting. That is the Ark. It's not the actual Ark, but it's definitely a representation of it.
You see the Ark of the Covenant, and on top of it you see that the image of the wizard is presenting itself like an Archon, a reptilian. Now let's imagine that this Christ technology, the hero, the XP, the experience technology, falls in the wrong hands. Opening gates, sending messages.
Dang, that's crazy. I never knew it went down like that. Boy, they got chopped up and dissected. Let's keep it rolling on these waters.
When you think about spiders, they have flexor muscles that will bring their joints and appendages in towards the body, but they don't have extensors. And instead, they do that with hydraulic pressure that they generate inside of the main cavity or chamber of their body. And so because of that, when they die, that's why you see spiders curled up. But at the same time, that means that we can use hydraulic pressure when we use the spider as the material for our gripper to take advantage of that and extend all of its legs or joints. We're referring to these as necrobotic grippers. We're calling it necrobotics because we're using these basically dead objects, dead spiders in this case.
We took the spider, we placed the needle in it, not knowing what was going to happen. We kind of had like an estimate of where we wanted to place the needle. And when we did it, it worked. The first time, right off the bat actually.
So this is what y'all working on. Y'all working with playing on dead spiders when these mercury rectifiers is out here and free energy is up in the ionosphere? Come on, man. That's all I got for today's episode, man. If you made it this far, drop the 100s in the comments so I know you real. It's your boy Jet Ski Chuck, man. Try to get these boys out to you daily. I try the best I can, man. I'm trying to get a new computer. I'm working on a green screen, man. We're going to take this channel to the next level with these creepy and scary TikToks, man. That might just melt your whole reality. Man, it's a blizzard outside. I'm looking, it's a blizzard. I hope you guys are staying safe and warm. Electric blankets and hot cocoa. Chicken noodle soup. Dip it with the French bread with a little turkey and Swiss cheese on it. Make sure it's toasted. When you dip it, you bite into it. You get that hot juice with the slight crunch. It's delicious and it's exquisite. And a little bougie, but you all deserve it. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I want to keep this episode rolling, man, but I can only keep these going for so long, but I appreciate you guys. I might do a live later. Honestly, as good as I'm feeling, we might pop off a live later. So after you watch this, say, Chuck, I'm waiting on the live in the comments. And if I get 5 of those, I'll go live. Say less. I'll go live, man. We'll go live like an hour and a half. Talk about some of that ancient tech. Look back, do a relook into those mercury reactors, rectifiers. My fault, man. I know I keep saying reactors. I mean rectifiers. You know what I mean? We just stumbled across them last week. Dang. But anyway, it's your boy Jet Ski Chuck. Back up in this thing with another episode. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Peace.